Hello, my name is James Root. I'm an immigration attorney, office located Los Angeles area, practicing in all 50 states. I've been asked to go over the U4U program, more specifically the affidavit of support requirements under that program to allow foreign nationals from Ukraine to enter the United States with the aid of their sponsors. The Form I-134 was designed with the purpose in mind to alleviate the U.S. Government, or to limit the need for the U.S. government to have a public charge. In other words, to having a foreign national come into the United States without the sufficient financial ability and then rely on the government for assistance. So the system is set up to assess both the resources of the beneficiary and the financial support means of the sponsor who's making him or herself available for this program. There's a difference between the Form I-134, which is being used for this program, and the Form I-864, which is a much stricter and legally binding form of an affidavit of support, generally used for family members sponsoring other family members to obtain permanent residency in the United States. The I-134 form is generally used for humanitarian parole purposes and for temporary visits to the United States, such as a tourist or a student. It also can be limited in duration and scope. So, for example, if the sponsor is not willing to carry the financial obligation for a full 2-year term, he or she can limit the term to, let's say, 1 year, and also limit the scope of the sponsorship to something like food and shelter versus cash assistance if they would like. Again, on the Form I-134, it is asked of sponsors to provide some form of an assistance. So sponsors needs to understand, should the foreign nationals require help, that help will be available to them. That help should be made available during the temporary stay while they're here under this parole program. Also, the sponsor is there to attempt to prevent the beneficiary from becoming reliant on the government assistance. Many of the government assistance benefits are means-tested benefits, and they ask for beneficiaries to provide their resources and their sponsors' resources to see if they are even available, if they're eligible for these programs, and when there's full disclosure, many times they will not be. Beneficiaries promise. There's an implied promise that beneficiaries make, and the sponsors should discuss this with the beneficiaries, that they will make a good faith effort to either be or become self-reliant when they enter the United States. And since they're eligible to apply for work permits, there should be some desire on their part to try to obtain employment and then not rely on financial assistance from the sponsors. There are also deeming rules that apply. The deeming rule, what that really means is that the sponsor's income and resources are deemed to be available to beneficiaries when they're applying for certain federal and state government assistance, as I had said previously. That needs to be disclosed when and if benefits are being sought after. There are some exemptions to sponsors' obligations, and these exemptions, they vary state to state, county and local governments. They're more lenient towards young children and elderly, and as well as pregnant women when they're in need of certain government assistance, including health benefits, housing, and cash aid. Enforcement of the Form I-134 really depends on the administration in the White House. In my experience, the enforcement against the sponsor has been rare in at least the last 20 years that I've been practicing. Although the sponsor is signing this document under oath, I would argue that this is a promise rather than a legal obligation for the sponsor to offer this assistance. Keeping in mind that the financial support is a heavily viewed, particularly for this program, and lacking that financial support is a negative factor that could very easily lead to a denial in the parole itself. So we thank you as sponsors for playing a critical role in this program and offering your assistance in this regard. If you have further questions, feel free to reach out. You can reach me directly by logging onto the website rootlaw.com. That's rootlaw.com, or dialing. We have a hotline available. This number 323-900-0688. That's a direct dial number. You can also use that same number through WhatsApp by messaging or by calling us 323-900-0688. Thank you very much.